So in the UK, they're bringing in digital ID laws. You're going to need a digital ID or you can't work at all. I'm in the UK right now touring, so I thought I'd give my thoughts on it while we're on the way to a show which I'm performing tonight. So Keir Starmer is trying to appeal to all of the people concerned about immigration by saying, oh, digital ID is going to help because you won't be able to get a job without an official ID. But obviously anyone who doesn't care about that is not going to get one. It's not going to affect them. It's just going to affect every single other person on the planet. It's like how in Australia, they're banning under 16s from social media. But the only way to do that is to make me give every social media company on earth my passport and my ID, which is a violation of my privacy. I understand the spirit of the idea, which is to keep children safe, but the implementation is just rife for tyranny. And in England, in the UK, it's one of the most surveilled places on earth that isn't, China. In London, there are cameras absolutely everywhere, which you would think would mean there would be no theft. But it seems to not deter thieves at all, which makes you think the real reason for the cameras is something else. Oh, the venue's just here. So, what was I saying? I'm gonna get hit by a bus. See, if I was hit by that truck, it would have been caught on film, but no one would have necessarily gotten in trouble. Oh, we're in here. Hello.
Hello.
This is a cool club, man. Okay, we've made it into the green room. Look how small the backstage is. I know I'm a very big person, but even for me, this is a very small backstage area. I guess we'll do the rest of the video in here. Okay, we're in a much safer location now. I can finish my thought without risk of dying on the roads. You're seeing an increasing amount of digital surveillance, limitations to free speech in a lot of Western countries right now, and I think it's very concerning. I mean, we just saw a comedian recently get arrested in the UK for a tweet. Now, I didn't like what he tweeted, I disagreed with it, but I don't think he should have been arrested. And apparently neither did the Met, who have now announced that they're no longer going to be pursuing non-physical hate crimes. Basically saying, yeah, we're going to stop arresting people for tweets, which is wild that they were doing that in the first place, but I suppose a move in the correct direction. As an Australian, I'm still technically owned by you, all right? Your ancestors shipped my ancestors over to hell, and then we did a lot of atrocities upon the Indigenous people, but that's mostly your fault. I too am a victim. And even I am getting blown out by how many times I have to verify my age, my ID, put my passport into websites that are considered to be 18 plus. I mean, I had to take a photo of my face just to jack off the other night.
I was very lonely in my hotel room and feeling quite sexually frustrated, and I wasn't going to do it, but I thought, fuck it, I'm going to load up Pornhub, and immediately the first thing I see is not the button that says, are you 18, confirm, all right? It goes, hey, we want a selfie of you. I'm sorry, I'm not taking a photo of my face so that I can jack off. I took the photo. I did, I was indignant about it. I said, this is an outrage and a violation of my privacy, and then I took the photo. And then they were like, great, now we want a side profile. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a Victorian silhouette just so I can come. I closed the website. Honestly, in the moment I was very upset, but I think it's a great idea now because that's kind of what you want when you're feeling in a grubby mood and you want to look at disgusting pornography. You really need someone to be like, look at yourself. It worked. You know, because you're always like laid back like this. You take a photo of yourself and you're like, yeah, you know what, this isn't who I'm meant to be. Anyway, I should probably start my show. I've just been waffling.
If you like that, come and see me live. I'm doing all of these cities. We've added an extra London show on a Friday night because we sold out Sunday and Monday. A lot of people couldn't make that date. So we've got a Friday here. It's selling really well already, and so are all of the other cities except for Liverpool, which is confusing to me. But I would love for everyone in London to come to Liverpool so I can fill it. Loosebeers.com, get your tickets. I think it's a fairly mainstream opinion in this country and most countries that we do not want to be surveilled and permanently identified online. I think online anonymity is an incredibly important thing for the health and safety of a society. We need anonymity because we need whistleblowers. We need people who will come forward and tell the truth without fear of getting IP addressed and ram raided by the police because they don't like whatever was expressed. And it seems like in this country, everyone, for the most part, is against this concept of digital ID, but the government is completely ignoring those concerns. Just in London, we saw one of the biggest protests I've ever seen in my life over this digital ID stuff.
This is about controlling every aspect of your life. They're already damaging your health. The flu jab cause cancer. The COVID jab cause cancer, stroke, heart attack.
I love when there's like a protest that has a fair concern about any sort of government control. Every single nutter shows up, you know? So it's like, I agree with them. I'm getting looks. Don't call us a nutter. I'm not. I'm calling a significant minority. All right, this noise is doing my head in. This isn't my fight. Sign whatever petition they want you to sign. Where are we going?
That way.
Oh, we're going that way anyway. All right, well, no to digital ID. I've joined a protest. Well, technically, I'm just kind of going in this direction anyway, but I agree with their cause. I don't like digital ID, so I'm joining their protest for the next 25 seconds. I'm trying to get over here, though. Excuse me. I'm done helping. An official petition garnered 1.5 million signatures, all in support of abolishing digital ID. Now, in the UK, if a petition is set up in this manner, it requires an official response from the government. They have to actually address that the petition exists and say if they're going to talk about it or discuss it or change their minds. The government just said, yep, we hear you, fuck off. We're doing it anyway. Sorry, correction, The Guardian says it was 2.9 million people who signed a petition against digital ID. That's going to be one of the biggest petitions ever in terms of people wanting an official government response. And they just said, fuck off. And I just wonder, who does this law that they want to bring in actually serve? Who does it help? Who is it actually for? Because it seems like the average person doesn't want this. And I think about all of the old people who don't know how to use smartphones, who don't understand anything digital, let alone digital ID. Could you imagine sending an email to your grandmother? No. How the fuck is she going to work out digital ID? Like, you know for sure your grandmother is not jacking off mobily because she doesn't know how to take a selfie at all, let alone how to take a side profile and upload it to Pornhub. She'd probably end up accidentally posting a video on there. And this question of what's going to happen to people who don't have phones, I mean, you're thinking about homeless people who can't afford smartphones or people who want to live off-grid or disconnected from smartphones in general, or just technologically illiterate people who don't want, need, or use smartphones. Keir Starmer's solution to this is every single time you would need to prove your ID digitally, you would have to pay £85 to a third-party service to verify your ID, to prove that you are who you say you are, and then you can do whatever you want to do, which for now is applying for jobs, but tomorrow it could be voicing an opinion online.
You can choose to pay £85 to a company to prove that you are who you are every time you need to. Or you can take the easy route, which is get digital ID.
Well, then he's essentially saying, oh, there's no fine if you don't have it. It's just that if you want to utilize what we're using it for, it will cost you money. So it's like, we're not technically fining you, we're actually humiliating you by making you fine yourself. That's what he just said. I'm not robbing you. I'm making you put money in my pocket. Stop robbing yourself. Stop robbing yourself.
That's actually crazy.
You voted for this guy?
Very.
Sucked in. Yeah, he's like, what? We're not fining you. We're just going to make a private company charge you if you don't want to use it. That is crazy. If grandma doesn't know how to use a smartphone, she certainly does not know how to approach a third party. This is fucking crazy. And you know that it's not going to actually negatively affect anyone who's in the country illegally, because anyone who's willing to hire illegal immigrants is and never was checking ID anyway. I mean, if you got a job, you would need to prove that you have.
Yeah, I'd have to take my passport and my national insurance number.
Right. So then this does absolutely nothing extra other than make it all digital, which is exactly what the privacy nutters are freaking out about, because it's digital now and theoretically harmless and the same as the ID in your pocket, but all of a sudden it links up to your social media accounts and your bank accounts. Like, this is the thing. When they want a mile, all they ask for is an inch. And then the next year, another inch and another inch and another inch. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, do you have a license for that opinion? The way that he sneaks that in is very disingenuous. Him going, oh, yeah, we're not going to fine you, but, you know, if you don't want to use it, it's going to cost you every single time. So that's even worse than getting fined for not having one, because if you don't have one, you'd get fined once. But in this example, he's like, oh, well, every single time you want to apply for a job or rent a house, you're going to have to pay some third-party operator who's running an offshore business that doesn't pay tax £85 to prove you are who you say you are. But we're not fining you. We're outsourcing that to a private company. I suppose the biggest issue that everyone in this country has is just the knowledge that the government can't be trusted with this small, easy, convenient thing, because they know that they'll take it a mile. I mean, they brought in more strict speech laws and immediately started arresting people for tweets that were largely innocuous. Some of them were direct calls for violence, and that's fair enough, but a lot of them were just inane jokes or stupid opinions and ideas. People are getting denied access into the country for opinions that the government doesn't agree with. And I guess there's just a general lack of trust in that the people here have of their government to do anything even remotely competently. So when they say one thing, everyone is trained by osmosis to expect the opposite. And that's why there's so much uproar about digital ID in this country, because there has been so many times where the government has said, we're doing this for this reason, they implement it, and then it's like, sucked in, we were doing it to hurt you. We're seeing this a lot in Australia, where they're bringing in all of these laws to make it easier for young people to buy a home, but really it's just making it easier for banks to loan young people even more money. I mean, we're now allowed to buy a house with a 5% deposit. I mean, forget about the fact that, you know, two people earning $100,000 each can't afford the median house price or the average house price in any major city. Even with just a 5% deposit, they won't get loaned enough to be able to buy the home. So now banks are looking at extending mortgages to 40 years. So our government is saying one thing to us, which is we're making it easier for you to buy a home. But really what they're saying is we're doing absolutely everything in our power to make sure that house prices don't decrease by even a couple of dollars. We're fully committed to basing our entire economy around the steadily and ever increasing house price, which increases rental prices at the expense of every single young person who wants a family. and then no one has children. You go on Keir Starmer's Twitter, and he's just desperately trying to promote this idea of digital ID, and no one is, is buying it. I recently spoke with someone buying a house with her partner. She told me that she had to pay just to verify who she was. With digital ID, that could be done in seconds and wipe out the costs. Digital ID will save you time and money. But we're not fining you, but it will cost you if you don't do it. He got community noted. AML checks are a legal requirement to verify the buyer and seller. While this verification is mandatory, the practice of charging buyers is not standard. So he's lying by omission here. Anyway, I got the knock at the door. I'm getting on stage in a couple minutes, so I gotta give my closing thoughts here. I think that digital ID is very bad because I just think that online anonymity is a right that should be protected. It allows us to have whistleblowers. It allows us to have opinions expressed freely. And the idea of connecting IDs to the digital sphere, posting your face on websites, like we know that step by step, these technologies, they get pitched as things that exist in silos, like digital ID is just over here, and verification to access adult material is just over here, and hate speech laws for online comments and tweets is just over here. But we know that when these things get set up independently, it's very easy to then start linking them. And then all of a sudden, you need a digital ID to have an opinion online. And there is no such thing as anonymity in the online space. And that creates so many problems in regards to whistleblowers, in regards to exposing crimes online, women being safe from partners in domestic violence situations. There are so many problems associated with this that it's almost unfathomable to comprehend where this stuff can go. And that's why it has to be fought every step of the way. And that's why they bring it in as slowly as possible, inch by inch by inch. It's death by 1,000 cuts. So good luck, UK. I've got a bunch more shows. And if anyone from immigration is watching this, I actually disagree with everything that I've said. And I love censorship and digital ID. It's really good. Long live the king. I'm Lewis Spears. Like, subscribe, and see me live in 2025. LewSpears.com. Talk soon.